It is time for Down and Dirty Tricks live feed on Thursday night. Let's see who's in the room. All right, let's get going on this thing here. Kaylee, why don't you drop the curtain?
There we go.
There we go. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Thursday night's Down and Dirty Tricks live feed here on YouTube. We are also trying the Facebook at the same time. Again, I figured out a different way to do it, so we should be able to get both accommodated, but the better feed is going to be over on the YouTube channel. We'll let people get populated and set up and go from there. While we're doing this live feed, what's going on, Tim? Let's do a sound check. How's the sound check, everyone? And how's the video quality? Let me know how things are. Because if the video quality suffers on YouTube, Facebook's going. YouTube is a much better place for me to do this because I can do a lot more. If you've been seeing, I did the pre-video and I got a bunch of other stuff, and it's much easier to find the feeds afterwards. So if Dewey Dave, you're over there, if you can get over to the YouTube side, Kaylee, the link should be in the description.
Yeah.
And if you can, click on over. Let's hear for sound. Let's check for sound. Sounds good. Video's good. Okay, good.
Let me open the stream so I can send another link.
And we'll just see. Sounds good. Video's good. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mike G. So Facebook, I'm not sure how things sound on your end or look. Let me know. But if you could, definitely hit the link over to YouTube. We got to get this shindig started. Cheers, everyone, to the upcoming Independence Day, 4th of July weekend. Hope everyone has a happy and safe one. Don't be too crazy. Get a little crazy, have fun, but don't be stupid. All right, that's my adult advice. Don't be stupid. Let's see, video's good. Thank you, Paul. All right, we're going to get this thing rolling. So, for those who you can see what I've been doing today, we're going to do a little classic Harley Davidson board track racer with American flag and just kind of, give it a real monochromatic feel, kind of gritty and dirty. Similar to last week's Pirate. But, this was all grungy and cool. And I liked this so much, it was fun. I was at my buddy Ray's shop up at the beach, and his direct-to-garment printer. We did a little test print, and we might do some stuff with this and have some fun with it. So that might be coming up in the near future. But let's get this shindig started. All right. We got a few people in. Kaylee's pinned the link on the Facebook side, so everyone come on over, and we're going to paint this image. So this is what we got. So what I've already done today, and if you didn't catch it, I've uploaded the prep video of how I got this board set up and everything like that. Yes, Mike G, with old paint. For those of you who didn't see the video earlier today, the paint in these guns is the same paint from last week. Like I said, I don't recommend this fully, but I've been doing this for years, especially with solvent-based paints. It's much easier, unless you're dealing with pearls and metallics. But if you're dealing with like solid colors, straight colors, or candies, you can usually just leave them reduced, as long as you don't have activator in them. Cap the hole, and this is a sealed unit, just like this paint container is a sealed unit. Paint doesn't dry inside. If this is sealed, it won't dry. I mean, unless it's almost empty and there's enough air to kind of dry it out, but if there's enough paint in here, it doesn't dry. Most of us in the t-shirt world kind of understand it. I came up in the t-shirt world because we'd have anywhere from 12 to 30 airbrushes on each different color. So you weren't cleaning those out every night. You were just rolling through it. When it jammed up, you clean the needle out, maybe change the tip, put it back, and you just painted. I worked in the malls for over a year. Then I did fairs and beaches and all sorts of stuff like that. And you never clean the brushes until they're a problem. But I don't recommend doing that, especially with microns, things like that. But when you're in a pinch, you can, as long as you don't have activators in them or things like that. This Createx, when I mixed it, it was illustration Payne's, not Payne's Gray, it was illustration sepia mixed with illustration black, about 20% for one color. The darker one was 50-50. Then I made my espresso shot candy, which I'll post in the comments how to make it. and that was just 40-50 in reducer. If I had made it with 40-30 with the reducer, especially if we used the older reducers, it would have kicked over, it would have hardened. But the 40-11 and the 40-50 together, in some cases don't harden. So I'm just going to use what I use, which I know makes Gerald's head explode. I'm sorry for that, Gerald Mendez. But it happens. But I've done bikes before where I've had the white mix just right, or this perfect blue, purple, black mixed up, and I just had it. I was on this one bike called Hellbound for about a month, and it just stayed up. It just stayed in the brush the whole time till I was done. So let's get this thing started. Show you what I did here. Okay, board track racer. This image. Took this image offline, cleaned it up a little bit, and sized it, and then I used Sorel paper underneath, and just did a transfer, image transfer, just so I know where everything is. Just the basics, not we'll switch over here, not a lot of it, but just enough. See, just enough to see it. So you could freehand it from here, but what I also did is I took these, and this is a print I did. So what I did is I took the photo into Photoshop, I turned it to a grayscale, and I used, it's called, I think it was either under image or effect, it was posterize. Posterize changed it to 4 colors, so you don't get 4 colors of grays, and you kind of move the sliders around, you isolate it into something like this. Okay, and then what I've done to make my life easier, the old school paper cut technique, guys. I just have all this to get the rough registration and things like that. So the one thing I should have done, I didn't do. I'll do it right now. I'm going to slide this back. Oh, and then we got an American flag plot, which is right here. This is going to be superimposed over the whole piece at the towards the end. Should look really, really cool. Or if it's white, no, dude. Honestly, black ice. I did it with white. Once I get my white dialed in, I'd leave my white in there for days too. Believe it or not. Especially with water-based, I would not do that. With the solvent, it was much easier to do. I mean, I've done it. I've done it for days with white without a problem. Just gonna slide this out of the way. I'm just gonna trim off some of this excess bottom here. Hope everyone's doing well this week. Hope everyone's gonna have a good Independence Day, good 4th weekend. The weather's not going to be great up here, which kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Alright, so I got you, I got my silhouette here. Let's just set up the background a little bit. Let's go from here. Let's take some questions. Anyone have any questions on anything before I get really rolling? Once I start rolling, I don't look at the screen as much, but I have my daughter there. The off-screen producer handling the show in the background, Kaylee, is here, so everyone say hi. And keep it somewhat clean. She's almost 16. She's been in high school. I'm not really worried about most stuff, but let's not get kicked off YouTube. How about that?
Yeah, no, you have to be super careful on YouTube with the monetization and stuff.
Yeah, so language.
Even more careful than even if you were even if I was 18, wouldn't matter. You still want to use PG-13 language because even sometimes PG-13 language can get you completely demonetized.
Right.
So then there means that all of this will be worthless and you won't make any money from it.
So just like always, I do these videos in 2 hours. For the most part, I haven't really missed one yet, and I will miss one. It's gonna happen. But this video doesn't happen in 2 hours. Again, I start these off pretty early in the AM. I thought this up. I've been thinking about this all week, and I wasn't sure I was gonna try to pull it off, but I figured, what the hell? We'll give it a shot. So. I started, pulling this together this morning. And in fairness, I did this way back on a helmet for a Harley Davidson dealership a while back. So I've painted this image before, so it's not like the first time I've ever done a board track racer painting. it wasn't this exact way. It wasn't on a panel. It was actually on a helmet. That's one thing I didn't really cut out, and I want to cut it out now, is right here. This is like the brake line. I'm just going to get that kind of its location. So I want to thank a bunch of you guys for last week. Got quite a few that downloaded the pirate painting, the vector how-to, which is on MackayFineArt.com. You know, thank you for downloading that. Really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see what some of you guys do with it and how you pull it off. It's a fun project to do. You know, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, for those who didn't catch it, last week live feed was the Pirate's Curse, and this whole vector set is available on my Mackay Fine Art store for download, and it's 2 files. The map is separate from the skull, so you can use the map in other paintings, and you can actually take the lettering out and tweak it and change it. That was last week's. All right, what do we got? Yes, AJ, I'm aware. Just when I saw black ice, I just said it. Scoot back over. All right. All right, so I'm just going to make this a little actually dirty first. I'm just going to spit some paint. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to give it some grit first. And I'm just pulling back on my trigger, letting paint build up, and spitting it on the board. And I'm going to smear it and just give it. I'm not going too dark because it's going to be darker here, but I'm just kind of setting up registrations. So if I start to lose stuff, because I'm not going to do, you know, I'm not really going to do the grandstands and stuff. Maybe I will a little bit. So look, so I can overlay this guy in here like this. Everything lines up. And, you know, I'm going to switch to my darker color for these because these are darker. Remember, this is paint from last week. Sorry, Gerald. Who's that? Oh, so I was at my buddy's. My buddy owns a airbrush and t-shirt, a couple t-shirt places up at Hampton Beach here. He has a direct-to-garment printer. So I happened to visit him last week, and a couple days after the painting, after we did this one, and he wanted to test out some things. And I did a whole bunch of different tests of some ideas I want to do. So, which was kind of cool. So yes, that's how I got the. That's how I got the pirate shirt already done. I think the plan is to make it a little bigger, to stress it more, and put it on like an off-white or gray shirt, like a tan or gray shirt, and kind of make it look really cool, and maybe just change the size and scale a little bit. All right, so yeah, just grit that up a little bit. Like I said, this painting could be tragic to do it here, but we're gonna just give it a shot and see. I'm just gonna see what happens. Tim, took your advice. I got a new iPad Pro. I've done 2 paintings. On the graphics, Procreate. Yeah, man, Procreate's great, and just the ability of the iPad is awesome, especially if you when you start doing with clients. I'll go to a site, I'll use the iPad on site and take a picture of the vehicle and do a quick noodle sketch or whatever we're gonna do on top of it, and it just helps so much. All right, so let's try to line up this one. This is kind of the big one. If I don't get this right, everything else kind of fails.
Oh, Richard Voss, the feed may be skipping on your end. There is a better quality stream on YouTube, though.
So if it's skipping on Facebook, I apologize. It's the weak feed. So the stronger 4K feed is on my YouTube channel. So if you could there's a link right there, just pop on over there and check it out, and I think you'll have a better feed. If it persists on my YouTube side, then I'm going to have to kill the Facebook feed. But I'm trying to keep them both open. I did something a little different this week, so it should be okay to a point, but if it's not, then there's not much I can do about that. Okay, so what I should have done, what I need to do, this is when I'm actually using this one, is I need to post up. So I'm just gonna, this is the actual print, I'm gonna put this up in front of me so I can see it. I'm just gonna use this as a guide. So a lot of this stuff is like super black already, so I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna hit the whole thing really, but like I'm not just like flooding the whole thing with paint. If you do that, it's just gonna be a damn mess, and you're gonna get, you won't be able to erase things like that. And then I'm gonna do the trick I learned from Steve Driscoll. Yeah, when I learned it, it seemed kind of obvious, but I had never seen it until I met Mr. Driscoll. Miss him, he was a great guy and such a talented artist. But it's just take the tape and fold it up, and it kind of makes like a pool. You know, it makes a deflector so it deflects the overspray. So the YouTube is good, even in my crud Alaska internet. Good, man. Yeah, and that's why I've been trying to move everything over here, just because I can do a lot more on YouTube than I can on Facebook, and the feeds are easier to see for everyone. So that's why I want to get everything over here. So sorry for those on Facebook if you're having, not a Premiere experience. So, I'm just going to mist this whole thing so it's all there. But if I missed it, I can still see my Sorel lines underneath. And that's my dark, so that's my 50% mix. That is 50% black, illustration black, and 50% illustration sepia. We're going to do some eradication with this. We're going to do some erasing. We're going to do a little bit of everything. I'm just going to make it cool. Fun painting. Stylized realism, but more just fun. It's not, I don't do a ton of realism, nor do I boast I do. I do it for clients when it needs to, when I'm really into it. But for the most part, I do stylized realism to more automotive style stuff. So use my pocket graphics just to bring out that chin. Let me switch cameras here. Yeah, that's a little better. You can see that probably a little bit better. So you can see like the lines and the chin there. And this is all black in here, but because the stencil, it'll fall apart if I take too much of it out. That's why I'm not putting too much in. I'm setting a lot up for freehand. That noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hitting against the mine. Those pelicans?
Those are seagulls.
Oh, damn those seagulls. Yes, sorry. My bad. Just using some loose shields just to define some things based on my lines. I'm really going for that kind of like poster print graphic look here. I'm not trying for immense amount of detail. Because like I said, so here there's a shoulder in here, and that's kind of the back of the jacket, and if I don't set it up right, it'll look kind of funny on the on the end result, but I know which way to go with it. Well, I did know which way to go, but I just went backwards. Ah. That goes that way. So let's see what we got here. We can always put this back in a sec. We want to get in more in some freehanding. We want to get these kind of darks established. That's the shoulder. What was that?
This is something I'm saying. We should have two mascots now, the geese and the otters.
The geese and the otter. We have the otter. Otters kind of make weird noises.
You know what? They do sound like that. I've heard otters make noise that sounds similar to geese.
And let's take this off, and we can always put it back at the end. But I don't want to go too nuts on this. Let's pull the tape. That's why I like the KUTG Gold. It comes off paper really easy. It doesn't tear. And it separates from itself really easy, like that. Hey, Blue. Make sure you hop over onto the YouTube side. Much better video quality over there. We're going to try to keep both feeds stable, but if the YouTube one starts to suffer, the Facebook one is going to go away. So it's starting. You know, it's just the start of it. And now we can go in and start doing a little like freehand work. Look at these goggles. And yes, this was paint from last week. All I did is I shook it up. Shook it up and then sprayed it. I added a little bit more reducer into this one because it needed it. So see, just by having that, you know, rough registration there of the darks, I can look at my photo reference, which is up in front of me, which is here, and just kind of work from it. I wonder if I can keep it. Let's see if I can just kind of keep it off to the side, and just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just, you know, picking it out, and I'm not going for a Steve Leahy or Blair realism. I am going for a little bit more fun and graphic look. Not that their work isn't fun, but just more of kind of a eradicated photo, a little bit old photo, and just kind of distressed and just not trying to make it fully detailed. You know, the helmet needs to kind of stand off, so I'll use this guy as a loose shield. And we're going to hit that background. We're going to streak that background really good. We're going to have a flag back here eventually, but not too much back here, so I'm just gonna kind of hit that there. You only seeing every third comment? Are you only hearing, only seeing the comment? I'm not sure how the comments are going to work.
There's no way to fix the comments. That, from personal experience, is usually an issue on your own end.
It might be YouTube monitoring too, because I do have the filter for inappropriate comments turned on, in case anything comes in that's not.
I mean, it also, the chat isn't going super bad. Like,
So watch, I'm going to shade under here. And we got the mouth. It's kind of got a little smirk going on. And then we can go over and do some of my favorite stuff, which is the erasing. Where is my pencil sharpener? Excuse me. For this stuff, I'll use a pencil sharpener. Just with the standard Faber-Castell Perfection 7058. These are just their regular erasers. These are fully available. Blue, thanks for popping over to the side. Appreciate that. Get this nice and sharp. So now, you'll see this white highlight. Now I can get this, right to pop up. Just by carving it out like that. I can tone it in again. Alright, so the other thing actually I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little angle cut. I'm going to chisel tip the blade, the eraser. See how I just kind of put a chisel tip to it? And you can just really come underneath it. And I can do a lot of that at the end. But yeah. This guy's in my way, so I'm just going to move him off screen. So it's a little easier for me to see what I'm doing. When I click out and come back, I see what I missed, which tells me it's on my end. Yeah, so probably just a delay on your side. Hey, Mr. Churchill, over on the Facebook side, thank you for popping in. Hopefully I get Churchill over to the YouTube side, if that's possible. But if you can't, no. Not a problem. While Mr. Churchill's on, feels you don't know Mr. Churchill. Well, Churchill is the creator, the master behind the Airbrush Art Circus, which we've done. Ooh, how many have we done now? 6 or 8 circuses? I forget, Rob. But the next circus is scheduled, and the links are starting to go up, and that is going to be in California, back at Coast Airbrush. Actually not back. It'll be for the first time for the Airbrush Art Circus to be hosted. Be the first time for any other event other than a Coast event to be held at Coast Airbrush, which is thanks to Dave and his crew. So we're going to bring the circus to California, which is awesome. And that is going to be, I don't have the link on me because I didn't have time to get it today, but it is going to be the 1st through the 5th, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, of October of this year at Coast Airbrush in Anaheim, California. Mike G, the ringleader. Yes, he is the ringleader. So I'm just kind of working on that upper shoulder area. And this is still kind of the block out phase of everything. That allows me to just start defining stuff. I want to get that really hammered so you can really see that. So what I'm doing, see how I'm getting back to white there? What that is, because this paint's over-reduced, I'm pushing it enough and it's eradicating the paint. So you can use straight reducer to do that as well. Or isopropyl alcohol. If you saw on Craig Frazier's Listening and Badly feed last night, we made mention of that at the end. We were talking, he was talking with Chris Dunlop, and they were talking about this technique a little bit. So paint eradication is really fun to add in. And the first time I started was with erasing, you know, from seeing guys like Corey St. Clair and Drew Blair do it. First time I saw it in person was Corey St. Clair, and then saw Drew's erasing techniques, obviously. But the first person I really saw do a lot of detail with just reducer or isopropyl alcohol was Corey. We used to do like freak dots and stuff back in the automotive kind of days, but never really was like controlled as far as using it for like actual highlights and stuff. So that's like kind of mid and warm. Yeah, I can go in with the dark. Really define it with the darker color when I'm ready. See how fast that kind of... This is a little thicker mix, so I can kind of punch the details more. But it's not true black. Again, you'll hear me say it over and over again. I'm never using true black unless I'm doing cartoon characters or t-shirts. Black is always mixed with a color. You know, usually the color of the area you're working with. Or I usually add a few drops of black into a color or something like that. Jose Lopez over on Facebook. Yes, I am using illustration colors. So the colors I'm using, and after this video, I'll re-up the description of it, is illustration sepia and illustration black. So for my mid-tone color, my lighter color, this color here, it's about 20% black to sepia. And then in this one, it's almost 1-to-1. It's right around there. And then just reduced. I have no other additives in this. And the other color I'll use towards the end for like a glazing wash is my espresso shot candy. So now this I can go in and I can hit all those kind of little details. In case you didn't catch it, this was Createx illustration colors from last week. Which I know there's the cries of many airbrush artists, how would I do that? We've talked about that at the beginning of the video. It's something we did that quite a bit, and still do on the t-shirt days, you know, because you don't clean out your t-shirt rig airbrushes every night. At least I don't know. I've never met a t-shirt airbrush artist that worked in like a steady mall or shop. Guys who usually do outdoor events and stuff, a lot of times they'll clean them. Just because they're out in the elements when they do it. So, I can't speak for them. Cool. Yeah, and this painting might be a little too big for 2 hours, but we'll try to do it. You know, it's always good to challenge and see. If I don't get it done, I don't get it done. We'll continue on next week, or I'll maybe do a live feed for some of my friends over in the UK and down under, where they can kind of watch it, and I'll finish it then. But I said that about the pirate one, and we pulled it off. Handlebars coming down. We got Kaylee yawning in the background.
Sorry.
It's okay. Kaylee's been working hard this week.
I'm working with little children in 97-degree weathers.
Yeah, we've had the heat wave this week, and Kaylee's been working at the barn she rides at because they're doing camp this week. So she's going to CIT.
No, I'm a full counselor.
Oh, I'm sorry, full counselor. Camp counselor over there. Doing all the fun camp stuff with little kids on horseback. So she's been pretty busy with that. And like I said, it's been 100 degrees this week. A couple times we're close enough to it. Been in the upper 90s.
Rob Churchill's skull reference box still available.
Rob Churchill's skull reference book. I don't know if Rob's. I know
Rob might be on the Facebook stream, so he can answer.
Mr. Churchill, if you're still on, is your skull reference book still available? Rod Fuchs has a really nice one. If you haven't seen that already, that's an awesome one you can get. Another awesome skull reference is from Tattoo Smart. If you go to Tattoo Smart's website, they have an amazing skull reference set, which is like a brush set for Procreate, but it includes a PDF of all the different skulls. It has all the images, all the JPEGs, and they're backlit, all different views and angles, and that is on Tattoo Smart, their website. So yeah, so I'm just starting to tone stuff in. Hello, Mom. Mom is over on Facebook side. Just blocking all this stuff in. Oh, you missed a Tattoo Smart. So it's Tattoo Smart. They have a whole bunch of, they have a ton of brushes for Procreate, as well as stuff for Photoshop, a little bit for Photoshop and Clip Studio. They have a lot, mostly for Procreate. And they have one, it's a skull pile set. And it's outstanding. Lots of different angles. It has them in 3 different color sets. Like one is like backlit and fire color called Molten. And it's got a normal one, and then it's got, I forget what the other set is, but yeah, Tattoo Smart. They have great stuff on their site. Let's change that camera angle back up here again. Oh my God, have you been watching me head down the whole time?
No, you've been good.
Okay, good. I switched the cameras and the preview looked really kind of messed up on mine, so want to make sure.
Well, you can see the stream. It just
Switch back, and then it's going to go back. Good. Good. Haven't seen Mr. Leahy tonight. What's up, Scott and Shaq? What's going on, Mike's Brush? Mike's Brush has entered the room. Thank you for checking out the show, sir. If those of you who don't follow Mike's page, Mike's Brush, definitely give Mike a follow. You know, just like Airbrush artists stick together, Airbrush artists putting content online, help each other out. I'm gonna get this back here just for a sec. I want to get I didn't really get down here in the wheels well. Should be kind of on the darker side. There we go. If I want to get super crazy technical, I could keep cutting little pieces and making everything like super perfect. I'm just really trying to have fun with this one.
Why did you go with an off-color background color?
Well, because I wanted a sepia tone look to the whole piece. And by going with that color, if I want to bring in white or like a brighter off-white for shadows, it's much easier to. You know, because when you look at this painting, there's almost no pure white in it. So I didn't really even want to start in a white board. And plus, if you really look at it, let me see if I can zoom in. You can see all this texture. Just like the pirate one, there's actually already texture and stuff in the base coat that I did. Just to give it an old look. Because I didn't want it to be all like pure white. You know, but now if I want to go with a white base, like a white highlight, I could go over it and it's not so dramatic. Pure white's just too dramatic of a change, so. Yeah, I wish I could name every part that I'm painting in here, but I don't know it, so. I know I'm on the forks and the triple tree and, you know, the legs and all this stuff in here. I mean, a lot of it's just a frame, but there's a bunch of, you know, this 4-track race, so they had some weird stuff on them back then. I don't even know the year. I should probably have known the year of this one. That would have been a good trivia question to go over. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Gives that old paper look, that old photo look. And then if I do go on some highlighting white, it just has to be subtle. I'm not fighting this entire bright white background to get it pushed back. This is where Craig Fraser was on. He could probably tell me every part of this bike, when it was raced, who raced it. This is where pocket graphics come in good for little stuff like this. You know what? I'm going to crisp that edge a little bit. Here, just another one. Just little bits like that, but you can already see things starting to come together. Like that right here, look at the wheel goes through it. That's actually the reflection of the wheel on the fork right there. So my plan for this is, timing wise, if I'm not done with this by 9:30, I'll move on to the flag and everything here, so you can see it mostly together. Then if I have to refine things afterwards, I can. Define out the outer edge of that wheel with some debris here.
Just so you know.
Yep. Got the watch.
Oh, you have the watch on. Okay, so I don't have to do time checks.
Well, you still may have to if I get the pinch and don't look at it. Now we're starting to see that kind of flow. Let's do. Oops. Up here. And I'm not going to worry about this because we're going to have flag, debris, all sorts of stuff. My phone thinks I'm exercising, I think. Look, woo! Gotta go live and finish it tomorrow. Let the Sense build. Yeah, I could start doing that. I could start doing 1 hour feeds, but I can't really go live 2 days in a row, you know, and keep, you know, the shop work going. I have a lot of shop work, and I'm getting behind on some of it, so you know, if the more people watch YouTube, the more followers, the more content I can put up, then I can spend more and more time with it. Pretty much this whole area is black. So we'll get most of that out. Did anyone check out the pre-video that I did on this? I launched it right before. Tim, yep, look at the fast. That's kind of the. That's why I've always loved this photograph. Because it's just so iconic. There's a few of them, but this one is really really captures that ridiculous speed they were doing on these, which, you know, by today's standard on bikes is not fast at all, but it's relative, man, because between being on a wood track, and that bike, and how unstable they all were, you know, it's probably just as, well, not so dangerous, but it's probably got the same feeling as the guys do today doing like 100 miles an hour in a corner or 150 plus, but these guys were maybe doing like 40 or 50. I think it was in the early 1900s, like first cars, people thought if you went over 50 miles an hour over something, your face would peel off.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't have no concept of going that fast, so they thought once you reach a certain point, you would just, you know, implode. I forget what the speed is, but I want to say it was like around 50 or 60 miles an hour. They thought your body couldn't survive it if it went too fast. Oh, Ed, thanks, man. Just kind of show a little process. You know, these processes, this is stuff we go over like in great detail. And I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, free ones, and there's going to be some paid ones coming up, which will go more in depth and detail. But when we do the workshops, like the Airbrush art circuits and stuff, that's when we really, you know, go into a lot of detail about how we do stuff. We can break down everything. And of course, it's done in the course of 5 days, so we can really like dial in on everyone and get everyone all the information. There's a lot going on inside these wheels, because you got the spokes, you got the track, you got the wheel spin, Well, the cool thing is a lot of it you can just mimic a lot of what's happening. Yeah, before I get into the black, I'm going to do some erasing. So I can get some of this stuff dialed in here. Let's see, imagine going for a horse or a bike. Yeah, exactly. You know, so, Kaylee, what's the average speed of like a horse at full gallop? Like 25? 22?
I don't know average, I know the fastest.
I mean, yeah, the fastest go really quick, but like, you know, you have people in horse and buggy.
It also depends on the type of horse.
Yeah. But like back in the West when they were going, they weren't over roads.
I think it could be like average to be like 25, yeah, between 25 and 30 miles.
Yeah, so between 25 and 30 was what they were used to on horseback. You know, and that was as fast as they would ever get. And then cars came, and you know they didn't want to go much faster; they wanted to be comfortable. And then they started.
Maximum sprint is 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, so you know to get on these things and.
I think the fastest horse.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fastest horse, like, yeah, really fast, but we're not talking that. It's slowly coming together. Not bad for an hour. You know, obviously, like we talked about, with all the prep and everything that went into. A lot of time goes into these things, so don't forget about Super Chat. If you guys don't know what that is, that's one things you can help me out as I'm doing this. And if you want to do some of the paintings from last week and other paintings, go into Mackay Fine Art. There's all sorts of stuff up there. Hey Larry, how's it going, man? I just saw you pop up here on Facebook. I'm not watching the Facebook feed too much because everything's happening over on YouTube. But we do have the Facebook feed running. We've got a few of you over there. But if you see that link, you know, that YouTube link, you click that, you can see the higher def videos with the better angles and stuff like that. I'm going to pause for 1 sec. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to try to make the picture-in-picture bigger. Let me see. Go. Now I gotta move it down a little bit. That's the wrong way. Oops, too far.
That's good.
Size. Oh, just take it. There we go. I could have set that up a little better ahead of time, but now you can kind of see, you know, top down. I'll zoom in. And 3/4. Right, 1 horsepower to 20. But see, by working this mid-tone, I can really kind of just play before I commit to anything super dark. And all this is going to be American flag in a little bit. And you haven't seen it, that American flag is right here. It's already plotted out. This is a new series I have coming out in probably a week or two, which will be a bunch of flags for you guys. Which the cool thing about the flag, what I'm doing, it's not clip art photo from online, it's some of my own pics, and believe it or not, some pics from Mr. Mike LaValle himself. I remember I was talking about this a while ago when he was still with us, and he had shot off a bunch of flags that he saw, so I'm using some of his pictures on that as well that he'd given me for that purpose. Yeah, I'm not going to do all like the grandstands way up in here. I think I'm going to put clouds and flags and stuff like that. Rob Churchill finally got this YouTube account to work. Yay me. It's a technical milestone. That is a technical milestone for you. Everyone give Rob a round of applause. Rob is a talented bastard, talented artist, but he is not the most tech savvy dude. And I don't think he'll mind me saying that. See, the feed's much better over here, Rob, right? Better quality video, better sound. Yes, music. Cool. Yes, Texas in the house. Alex, thank you, sir. Alex is over here on Facebook. You're like 10 people on Facebook side. If you guys could click that link and you could head over to the YouTube side, you'll see the better camera angles.
You do not need an account to watch. You need
an
account to comment.
Yeah, you don't need an account to watch. You just need an account to comment.
And like and all that.
And like and then super chat.
What airbrush are you using?
Oh, so right now, this is my Micron SB. Yes, a custom Micron SB. The last Gen 1. The new Gen 1s are coming out in about a month or so. This is actually version 2. So you have the old CMs. This is version 2. Version 2 of the square trigger. You could put the nozzle on the back. And I use old Eclipse SB side cup just because I like that better than the standard cup, which were these, which me painting without a lid is no bueno. It goes everywhere because of just how I move. And I kind of side pitch like this a lot, especially because so much time, teaching and in front of a camera that I try to keep the airbrush out of the way of the image. So I've gone from like painting straight on to, kind of sideways pitched. Can't believe Rob Churchill made it on the YouTube side. Good job, sir. Very proud of you. And yes, I'm being a wise ass too, but that's only because I love you. I'm gonna give it some mist. Oh, and I ran out of the paint from last week.
Uh-oh. Yep. Do you still have the color?
I anticipated this, so I did mix up the color from last week. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reduce it a little more. This has been sitting for a little bit since about 7:30. We're gonna give it a little bit more reduction. And I'm going to use my strainer I made. This is a strainer I made. It's got two, cigar pipe or tobacco pipe screens. And it's just a brass fitting and a brass pipe cut. And look, it fits right on. Actually, AJ has a really nice one. That's out of my shop. I don't have it in here with me. Just to take out any possible particles that might be in it. You don't need to strain it, but I find it's better. And some of my paint's pretty old, man. I don't buy. I go through so sparingly that I don't go through it very fast. So, let's just give this a little test fry. Might need to be reduced a little more because I'm pretty thin. So it's not as thin as I had it, but it's actually kind of allowing me to do a little more sharper detail. Yeah, but I'm going to reduce a little more. And it takes a little bit for the reducer to kind of kick in. But I did plan ahead. I figured I might run short of this color, so I did mix it up. But that color I ran this whole painting for an hour was from last Thursday night. And I don't do it because I'm frugal. I do it because I have ADD. And I just didn't get to it. Larry, I'm still remembering your skills going slow color changes. Yeah, man, just build it. Just build that piece slow. It's not a race. I'm in a little of a race. Just because I decided to try to do a big ass painting in 2 hours. Why not? It's the 4th. Go big or go home, right? Like always, I will take bids on these paintings if anyone is interested. We don't have one yet on this one. So if anyone would like to make a reasonable bid, we would definitely entertain that. Michael Stan, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for popping in. Another cool tool, I talked about this last week. This is by a company called Slice. S-L-I-C-E. They make these basically composite razor blades. You know, they have a whole different series of them, but they're like a ceramic blade, so they don't really cut your skin well, but they cut paper well, and they're awesome for erasing techniques like this. I'm going to switch over to this camera. I'm going to zoom in a bit. So, like, if I want to do this, you know, these little fins here on the block, I can go in and just give it some erasing. You got to save some money for the circus? Yeah, man, I get it. I definitely get it. You know, I can do this kind of spokes like this. It's just... See that? Just little hints of the spoke. Just little hints. So these are great for that. Or, like I said, the erasing sticks. You want to be a little softer. I'm going to do these fork tubes. Bring that right out. You know, just bring those highlights out. Yeah, so here. And then I can use this eraser. This is eraser sticks that, you know, are hard to find. Drew Blair had a bunch of these. Tell me about your scrolling scrap paper holder. Oh, yeah, this was done by Colin. I don't have Colin's link here, but it's, you know, he makes these. It's, you know, you just roll the paper through. Great for testing. I don't have his link. If someone does, feel free to put it up. But it's called the Airbrush widget. You can probably look it up on Facebook. It's awesome. And you just use cash register ribbon, you know, tape. Simple, yet effective. Yeah, these erasers are hard to get. I got these from Drew Blair. He may still sell a couple of them, but I know he was running low last time I knew. So you can definitely use those. Or just these are easy enough to come by. Another trick I learned, if you want to really make it erase well, take a little reducer in a cup. A little reducer in a cup. Soak the tip a little bit. Get the excess off, and it kind of gets, you know, a little bit wet. Now it'll erase super fast, but you got to be really careful because it'll erase almost too fast if you're not careful. So, you know, that's an option. See how fast that, you know, this bright highlight got? You know, it can be a little too much, so be really careful. You can do some brush work. You know, I'll probably go through and do some brush work on this after. And this is probably going to end up being a much longer project than the 2 hours. But that's fine.
What tip do you like in the slice, please?
Which tip do you like? Skip just the regular ones. The regular. I don't know what number they call them, but they have the same angle and shape of a standard number 11 X-Acto blade. I've tried the other ones. They all work cool. I like just the standard type because I'm used to it. I'll just keep working. Alright, let's go in with some highlights. I mean some other true darks. And I'll cut back in. I'll probably do the highlights with the white or off-white color just because of I probably should have done the erasing a little sooner. Paint's getting a little thick for these erasers, so you can also use a stick. You can use this is the vinyl pick tool. You can do these as well. Anything that works. You just got to be careful, you know, not to go too deep. Because I don't want to, like, this is actually a black board, the initial board that's under here. And then I base coated this color.
Rounded or
They're a little pointed, but it's just, it's that one type. I don't know the exact spec on it. I don't have it in front of me. I ordered like the whole kit from them, and I just experimented with them all. And you know, they had like a good pack that you got all the different sets, and I just ordered them. So I want to get the flag on here soon. I mean, I got enough of him there to really get the rest. Let's get this. This is the darker. So this next color is the black. It's like 50-50. And this is where I'll carve the details in. But it's not. It's black with the sepia. 50-50 mix, a little over-reduced. And now you see how fast I can separate this tire from the forks. I can just start carving all that detail in. This is where the freehand skills really come in. If you keep using stencils at this point, it's going to look really stenciled. So at this point, it's nothing but net, really. You just but see, just by bringing out that dark, let's get this foot in here. And guys, definitely don't forget to share this with people and let people know we're over here and what we're doing. All that stuff helps me out with the amount of time and work that goes into these feeds. The more help, the better. I haven't done a one-on-one in my studio in a while, but I'm always up for one. So you could private message me and talk about timing and schedule. We could see if we can work something out. They are difficult to schedule, but I am going to start doing one-on-one, you know, or small group through, you know, internet and through YouTube and Facebook and stuff. I just have to get it sorted. But if anyone's interested in that and you're fine with this format, how we're doing it, we can do a one-on-one. And if you have a webcam set up, we can probably do it so I can see your canvas and help you out. See how fast that dark just starts to really carve everything in? Let's see, we got 3 people over on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, over on Facebook. The rest of you, thank you for coming over to the YouTube side. I'm going to look into doing both at once. You know, on the high quality, I just got to see how it's going to work. I don't know how to do it right. I mean, you might need to pay for a service, and you know, if I have to pay for a service, that's more money that I got to factor into this. As free as Facebook, I mean YouTube is, it is not fully free to do these the way we're doing them. That's why your support definitely helps a lot. Goes a long way. And rewatching them, you know, watch these whole videos, go through them, learn from them, that's going to help me a lot. Okay, I'm going to get the flag on here. That's enough on that. Let's zoom back out. All right, so that's the basic of the board track racer. And we're going to give him some texture over here. I'm just going to fade out this. So this side of the painting is kind of there already. We're going to air dry this out. And we'll get the vector on here. Alright. So that's pretty good for, I think, the time. Got quite a bit done on it. It was a little ambitious to do both, but I know I showed Kaylee, she's like, what? I showed my wife Crystal, she's what? You gotta try that? But that can be a glutton for punishment. Let me just get these in here. Okay. Let these dry. Alright, it should be dry enough to get the mask on here. So what I did is I got an American flag here, plotted and cut. I'm not gonna do a hinge technique. I'm just gonna peel and stick this for time's sake, and hope we line up all right. I'm just gonna roll this back, and then I pre-weeded almost everything, and I just lost a couple stars. We'll save these guys. Hold on. It's live. I'll put those back in. I'm going to save them. Just rolling the stuff back. And this was all cut out of SBS Gold. Alright. Hold on to your butts. We'll stick that down. I'm not going to push it down super on this side because it's pretty fresh paint. This side we will. And we're going to start with the Starfield. Hey Mark, how's it going, man? Yeah, the replay will be up as soon as we're done. But thank you for popping in. Okay, so Stars. Roll it back. Checking as I go. So I actually vectored this about an hour before the class, before this live feed. Went in for my photograph, went in Illustrator, and just used the pen tool and did the tracing around everything. Vectored it, plotted it on the board. Yeah, I don't need much of this here. I'm not going to use a lot of it, but... So I don't want to get anything here yet. I want the star field, which is normally blue, to be the darkest. And then we'll go here to the lighter. So I'm just going to kind of block things off for a little bit like this. And do the whole paper roll thing. That now paint's not going to get to where I don't want it on the first stage. And since this guy's shoulder's right there, you know, I can use this to cut in, but I'm not going to go that far with it. Okay, so let's start with the star field. And here. And I know the wrinkles are coming this way, the way some of these stars are cut off and shaped, misshapen. So I'm just going to put the wrinkles in first. It's kind of pulling this way. And we'll follow these lines, you know, through the stripes. I do a photo reference that's going to go with all these when it comes out. Just don't have it right this second on me. I want this all to get on there, and then I'll pull the stars and then finalize the shade